troubling images are those of people celebrating without masks, without social distancing. This is unacceptable, and that is something which hopefully Mamata Banerjee will send a strong message to her supporters today. Meanwhile, let's turn from Bengal to Tamil Nadu. Remember, Tamil Nadu today living up to its reputation of being a state where politics seems to undergo change every 5-10 years. Those are images, again, troubling images coming in from Chennai. But it appears as of now that while exit polls predicted a sweep for the DMK-led alliance, we have a tight contest. And in that tight contest, the Stalin-led DMK alliance is pretty much within range now of forming a government, but a strong showing by the AIDMK. Udaynidhi Stalin and Mr. Stalin both leading in their seats, 130 over 95. Listening to some of the reactions that are coming in to what's happening in Chennai. Again, celebrations taking place. I just wish that people realize that the COVID challenge is far bigger than this election victory. Take a look.
The early trends are very, very promising. So looks like we will win this election. And everywhere important steps have been taken to ensure that there is no spread of corona. Even at the counting centers, a lot of precautions have been taken. Our leader, Mr. M.K. Stalin, has clearly instructed the party cadres that there should not be any victory celebrations.
Let's give you also the update on Assam, where clearly the BJP has scored its biggest victory of the day. Setback in Bengal, but a big victory in Assam, set to come back to power 5 years after it came to power for the first time. A clear, resounding victory at the moment in Assam for the BJP, set to win a 2/3 majority, even bigger than it won in 2016, and really cutting across the lower Assam, upper Assam barrier at the moment. BJP leading on 81 seats, followed by the Congress at 45 seats. This is the one where the India Today Access My India poll was absolutely spot on in terms of its number range that we had given. The Congress lagging well behind in second position.
जनता ने जैसे हमें आशीर्वाद दिया है, उसी हिसाब से निश्चित हो गया कि बीजेपी की सरकार बनेगी। हमारे एलजेपी और यूपीपीएल का साथ हम सरकार बनाएंगे, ये स्पष्ट है। और सब जनता की जो आशीर्वाद, सहयोग इसके वजह से हुआ है, तो अभी तो इंतजार करना पड़ेगा आखिरी गिनती तक।
Our National Affairs Editor Rahul Shrivastava now joins us. The Prime Minister's COVID review meeting has just got over. Some critical decisions have been taken which are likely to be announced. Rahul Shrivastava has the inside track on what was discussed and what's been decided, Rahul.
Rahul, apart from the shortages of equipment, medicines, oxygen, a new challenge which is emerging for the government is as far as the manpower to administer two elements. One is a remedy as far as the battle against COVID cases is concerned, and the second is the vaccination drive. Now, with an added the number of cases increasing and more number of vaccinations to be delivered, the government is a report that there might be the numbers of medical professionals right now may turn inadequate. And that's why the Prime Minister today held a meeting with experts. And what we are told, that few measures are likely to be announced, if you allow me to read from my notes.
Go on.
That one is steps are likely to be announced by tomorrow to incentivize students and pass outs of medical and nursing courses to join the COVID duty. Second, the NEET and incentivize, there is the idea to delay the NEET exam and incentivize MBBS pass out studying for it to join COVID duty. There is likelihood of utilizing services of final year MBBS and nursing students on COVID duty. And last, medical personnel doing COVID duty will be given preference in government recruitment as well as financial incentives. So a kind of a package is being prepared, has been discussed today, and there is a likelihood of announcement tomorrow or within the next 24 hours.
In fact, many of these recommendations, Rahul Shrivastava, were also put out in a recent article by Dr. Devi Shetty. He also spoke to India Today about that need to widen the pool of people who will be used as frontline workers. Any other decisions taken, or was this the focus?
Rajiv, today that was the focus. Earlier there was another meeting in which the Prime Minister reviewed the availability of equipment and drugs. You see, today was the election day result, but the Prime Minister, I think the government wanted to signal that despite the results, despite the electoral battles, the government is on the task as far as the battle against COVID is concerned. And already you can see that there are voices of murmur within even the Sangha Parivar, with the Swadeshi Jagran Manch today coming out and saying that the medicine pricing, that is Remdesivir and others, needs to be controlled by the government, and also the prices of the two domestic vaccines being offered to state governments are exorbitant. In this climate, perhaps the Prime Minister is sending out a signal that he's on the task, battling all the elements that need certain amount of addressing.
What's the mood around the assembly election results? 206 leads for the BJP, for the Trinamool, 83 for the BJP in the state of West Bengal. That's not something the Prime Minister would be very happy about. Has there been any discussion on the, general conversations happening in the BJP after this disastrous result?
Rahul, actually, if you look at the campaign the BJP carried out, the high decibel, high on polarization, and I think very high on bluster, I think what the BJP was trying to do, it knew that there is a wide gap in states like Bengal. And to cross it, either they have to stand and brake and watch how to cross that gap, or press the accelerator hard and hope for the best. The BJP somewhere knew that it will be very difficult for it to climb from 3 odd seats last time around, despite the 2019 results, to match the Trinamool Congress, because the Trinamool had to slide a little and still stay in power, and the BJP had to climb too many seats. But I think what the BJP plan was to carry out a very high decibel campaign, which somewhere I have spoken to some leaders, and what they are saying is that though they have made inroads in rural Bengal in certain segments, in segments which are territories which are newer, but in urban areas of Bengal, which traditionally in other parts of the country have been controlled by the BJP, the problem it seems is that the BJP's highly polarized campaign has gone not struck a chord with the Bhadro, with what is called the Bengali cultures, and those people who consider themselves as the inheritors of the Bengal legacy. And I think that's where the BJP feels that even this verdict, there is a climb, but it is not what the BJP expected. I think the BJP was more or less preparing over the last 1 week for a result like this. I think they will carry, usually in the BJP now, in the last few years, there has not been much introspection. If there is, it is only between some top leaders, unlike the days of Advani and Rajnath and others. But I think the BJP was banking on doing better in Bengal. And also, Rahul, one very important point which I wanted to make, there was a strange dilemma this time around. I think for the first time we have seen in the BJP and in the PMO, they were very wary of both a win and a loss in Bengal. Because if they had won, there would have been charges that while between February and April, India was losing as far as COVID case concerned, the BJP was fighting to win. And a loss, they were worried that the knife will be out, that the verdict is a mandate against Prime Minister Modi and his handling of the pandemic. This kind of a dilemma I have not seen in the BJP for a very long time.
That in a way is going to be important also in the weeks and months ahead, because COVID is clearly not going away in a hurry. And the challenge, particularly in northern India with Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, could be massive. And therefore, with both states ruled by the BJP, how the BJP deals with the pandemic, how the center and the states deal with the